Go on, Phil. Respond to that.
All right. Okay. Well, no, I'll take his sympathy if that's what he thinks. If he thinks I ain't got a brain of my own, I'll take his sympathy. I'll be honest with you, I don't speak to anybody. Simon's an exception, and I mix in quite a circle of people, but I haven't had this conversation. Majority of people I talk to, the majority have the similar or same views as myself on this issue. So you always get...
France's beaches are a launch pad. Why are we the only ones told to shut up and pay?
Go for it, Simon.
One at a time. Hang on, Phil. Go on, Simon.
He is he's the epitome of everything that's wrong with this country. You're a disgusting man, Phil. Do you know that? You're a disgusting
man. Come on. Keep it civilised. Hang on.
I love you.
Hang on, Phil. Simon, keep it civilised. Challenge his views.
What's he laughing
at? I don't know. I'll fade you down, Phil, so you don't keep giggling. Go on, Simon.
What an idiot.
Good.
So these are human beings that are being used as a weapon for political gain, for this constant appeasing of far right and right wing politics. This is all that's happening here. These are human beings; they're not animals. And Phil, at what point in your life, right, would you deem it acceptable for a situation or a person to take away your choice?
Of what?
Part of being a human being is that you have choices, and these people. You're going to shut up and listen, or what?
Yes, go on, Phil. Go on.
I'm just agreeing. I'm just saying.
All right, but just okay. Carry on, Simon.
So you agree that it's important as a human being to have the ability and the freedom to make choices, yeah?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, go on.
Right. So there's no difference then between you and these people, all right? But they're not allowed to make free choices because of the political system that we have. And that then dehumanises them. They just want a better life. And if you were in the same situation, you would want a better life. And it would force you to do things that you have to bend the system, bend the rules in order to make the choices that you make. They are not coming from France. They are travelling through France to get here to choose to claim asylum. And people like Nigel Farage and people like, at the moment, Keir Starmer, for God's sake, who I voted for, are using these people as a political weapon to get people like you, Phil, wound up.
Mate,
and it's not right.
You don't like me.
All right, well, let Phil respond, Simon.
You don't even know. You don't even know me. So don't put me in a category. Look, I just said to you, if people are persecuted with a gun to their head, either with it's like fear of their lives for political or whatever reason, yeah, fine. But come through the system. They're not forced onto them boats. They climb onto them boats. They paid $3 or $4 grand to climb onto them boats. Use that money to actually come over in a normal, sociable way that they're quite entitled to do so. I have no problems with that. And then come through the system and then do it legally. They are illegal. I'm terribly sorry, mate, but that is the terminology. They are illegal. And we cannot afford to keep on dumping it.
Well,
it's
not, Phil. Phil, it's
we
not.
Don't have the finances.
All right, now, Phil, it's not the terminology. It is described as irregular migration, not illegal. It's described as irregular migration. When they come and apply irregularly but apply for asylum, they are not illegal, they are asylum seekers. If they do a runner and then start working under the radar, they're illegal.
No, they're illegal. Look, can I go to France?
I'm just telling you what the law is, Phil. You can shout at me if you like, but
no, I'm not shouting. I'm not shouting. I'm just trying to answer your question. What's your terminology for illegal then? If I go to America, how do I get into America without a passport, a visa, and the right documents?
It depends what you're doing there. If you're sneaking in under cover of darkness to go and commit crime all over the place, you're a criminal and you're illegal. If you're coming in... Hang on. No, listen to the end of my sentence. If you arrive there and say, hello, nice border guard in Hudson Bay, I'd like to claim asylum from, I don't know, Guatemala, can you help me? Then you're an asylum seeker.
From Guatemala. I'm coming from England. I'm coming from England, not Guatemala.
All right.
If I travel, no, Sheila, please, you shut me up for a minute. But basically, let me just say, basically, if I travel anywhere in the world without the necessarily required passports, visas, or documentation and try and cross into that country any other way than a noted form of transport, that is illegal. You can use terminology.
No, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not dancing on the head of a pin here, Phil. I'm just telling you, wherever you come from, if you land at the shores of a country and claim asylum under international law, certainly those who are signatories to it, the Convention on Refugees, the country has to give you a hearing and assess whether you can have asylum, and they can reject that claim.
So why do we bother having passports and visas and documentation? We don't need them, do we?
Because most of us aren't refugees claiming asylum. We're privileged, lucky citizens who don't have to do that.
They're already in France, where it's actually they've been accepted into the country. They're sitting in the country quite safe. They're not being chased over the channel, but the gendarmes are watching them coming over and helping them.
So we in the UK, in this global movement of people, we in the UK should be uniquely protected from it because of the channel.
We should be, well, hang on a minute. Why uniquely? It counts for every country. So uniquely. So
no, what I mean is...
New Zealand. Hang on, Sheila.
All right, okay.
No, you mentioned water. How do you get into New Zealand then? How would you get into New Zealand?
Yeah, by the water.
You're not cross water. Exactly. So you're talking about channel and water.
No.
But the only, water.
All right, Phil, the only reason I said that to you is you said they're in France, for God's sake. And I said, so are you saying that because at that point in France there is a stretch of water, Britain should be protected from any arrivals for asylum claims, any arrivals because of this mass migration of people that the whole world is witnessing and experiencing? Britain should be uniquely protected from it simply because where France ends, the water begins and we're at the other side of that water. So we shouldn't have to deal with it.
I believe any country that's actually got its borders and border control should be in control of those borders and control, so we know who is coming in here and what is coming in here. Not to have people just jump on a boat and walk across.
All right. Well, let's give Simon a chance now. Go on, Simon.
I mean, look, there is no safe and legal route for these people. If there was, then anybody coming in on a boat after that, then, I'd be a lot happier to refuse them entry, but these people don't have a chance. I want to ask Phil...
Well, some do.
Well, yeah. Is Phil going to vote for reform?
No, not necessarily at all. I've got my own views. I'm not going to...
it's a simple question. Simple question.
Well, he answered it. He said not necessarily. Go on, Phil, elaborate.
No, I'm in the wilderness at the moment because I have not got a clue to vote for, because none of them have got a clue what they stand for at the moment at all. Nobody. So I'm in the wilderness, quite frankly.
Why did you ask that question, Simon?
Because I want to know if he sounds like a reform voter, let's face it, and I wanted to know what would be more important to him. Less migrants coming in and maybe being extra cruel to human beings, or the prospect of him having to pay for healthcare and ignoring climate change. Do you know what I mean? What's more important in the grand scheme of things? Because let's say he is going to vote for reform, it's people like him that are going to drive this country into ruin. Because they fall for this narrative that is fed to them by bad people with agendas. And they fall for it. Because Phil, to me, you're the victim here. Because you fall for the nonsense.
Go on, Phil. Respond to that.
All right. Okay. Well, no, I'll take his sympathy, if that's what he thinks. If he thinks I ain't got a brain of my own, I'll take his sympathy. I'll be honest with you, I don't speak to anybody. Simon's an exception, and I mix in quite a circle of people, but I haven't had this conversation. The majority of people I talk to, the majority have the similar or same views as myself on this issue. So you always get people which actually, yes, okay, I do sympathise. And obviously I'm not a nasty, I can't swear then, I nearly did. But basically I'm not a nasty person, okay? And I do have my own views on certain things. But on this particular item, no, I totally agree with Starmer.
All right.
And it's funny enough, I don't agree a lot with Starmer, quite frankly.
So for you, that direct communication has really worked in the video?
Been in force long enough. He's not been in force long enough. So
but the communication has impressed you. The manner of that video and what he's saying in it, that's got your attention.
I haven't actually seen the video, to be honest, Sheila. I've only heard what you just played back to me in about the last half an hour.
Okay, well, that's the bare bones of it, really, apart from the pictures. Final thought on this, in this ding-dong of a debate from you, Simon?
I just think that he is just a classic example of a victim that's fallen for this nonsense. These people have been weaponised in order to further political gains, and I'm absolutely disgusted with Labour. That's not the party I voted for. And Phil, you are a victim, mate. You and all your mates that get sucked in by the right-wing press and the narrative that's fed to you, you are a victim.
OK, well, we'll leave it there. Thank you.
This exchange is a perfect illustration of the kind of intellectual dishonesty that pervades the modern left. We see it in the way they constantly try to reframe the issue of illegal immigration, using euphemisms like irregular migration to soften the reality of people breaking the law. They act as if crossing borders illegally is a mere technicality, a minor inconvenience, when in fact it undermines the very foundations of a nation-state. The left's obsession with human rights becomes a weapon to silence any dissenting voice. They accuse anyone who dares to question their open borders agenda of being heartless and uncaring. They try to paint a picture of desperate refugees fleeing war and persecution, conveniently ignoring the fact that many of these migrants are economic migrants seeking a better life, often at the expense of the very people they claim to be helping. This isn't about compassion, it's about ideology. The left wants to dismantle national borders, to create a globalist utopia where everyone is free to move wherever they please. But this utopia is built on the backs of the working class, who bear the brunt of the economic and social consequences of uncontrolled immigration. Take, for example, the housing crisis in many European cities. Left-wing policies, focused on providing affordable housing to newcomers, have driven up rents and property prices, making it impossible for native-born citizens to find decent, affordable accommodation. They talk about the need for diversity, but what they really mean is a diversity that benefits them politically, not necessarily the well-being of the existing population. They conveniently ignore the cultural and social challenges posed by mass immigration. They talk about integration, but fail to acknowledge the resistance many immigrants face in assimilating into the host culture. This leads to the creation of parallel societies, where different cultures and values coexist, but rarely truly integrate. And what about the impact on national identity? The left's relentless push for multiculturalism erodes the sense of shared history, values, and traditions that bind a nation together. They want to create a world where everyone is equal, but in doing so, they erase the very differences that make us unique. This isn't about being xenophobic or racist, it's about recognizing the importance of national sovereignty and the need to protect the interests of our own citizens. It's about understanding that uncontrolled immigration can have a devastating impact on our economy, our social fabric, and our way of life. The left's rhetoric of compassion and tolerance is a smokescreen for a dangerous agenda. They want to dismantle the nation-state, to create a world without borders, where everyone is free to come and go as they please. But this world would be a world without law, without order, and without the stability that allows us to thrive. We need to reject this dangerous ideology and defend the values that make our nation strong. It's time to put the needs of our own citizens first, to protect our borders, and to preserve our national identity. The left's utopian vision is a recipe for disaster, and we must not allow them to lead us down this path.